The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans. The Bible tells us how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable.
The God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
Donald Trump hasn't grown into the job because he can't. And the consequences of that failure are severe. 170,000 Americans dead. Millions of jobs gone. While those at the top taken.
So once again, the Republicans are triggered by President Obama. He could breathe and they'd be angry. And this time they're upset because he met with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada. That's it. Carney said on social media, "Welcome back to Canada, President Obama. Thanks for joining us in Toronto for important conversations on how we build a better future." Normal stuff, right? But for MAGA, they think that something deeper is going on. For example, Laura Loomer said, "Why is Obama meeting with world leaders while Trump is in office? This is a coup." She thinks that Obama meeting with Carney is an attempt to overthrow the United States government. Another popular MAGA account on Twitter said, "He's a former president. This violates the Logan Act." No, it does not. Honestly, I don't know what the F he thinks he's doing. The balls the Democrats have, unbelievable. I actually responded to that tweet by saying, "This you," referencing her back in 2024, celebrating Donald Trump meeting with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago. The MAGA Republicans hate Obama because he's better than Donald Trump in every single way, and people actually like him. He's one of the most popular politicians in America, despite leaving the presidency years ago. People
He said that Obama should be arrested. You know, these days Obama acts as not the former president, but the current president. So global leaders, they prefer dealing with Obama than Trump because they don't think that Trump's IQ is right. They don't think that Trump's way of handling things or Trump's way of thinking is right. So that's why they prefer dealing with the former president than him.
Are they going to arrest Obama? I can see the headlines now. Trump troops to arrest Obama. And they do. Something's wrong with the man. I really thought it was dangerous to use your phone on the airplane, but apparently that man got so he got on his Truth Social and he called for Obama to be arrested. Now you know what happened the last time when he got on his Truth Social and expressed who he wanted arrested. And they try to make it happen, old Pam Bondi. So I just wonder, will this Todd or Blanche, will he do the same?
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know.
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can declassify anything that he wants to,
Well,
so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
To that video that Trump put out in a new interview. And baby, one thing about President Obama, when he responds, baby, we listen. I have got to give credit to President Obama because no matter the situation, baby, he will deliver his message so calm, with so much grace, with so much intelligence. And let me add, Trump's entire presidency, Obama's vocabulary alone can outshine his entire presidency. For those of you who are confused, I say it again. President Obama's entire vocabulary will always outshine Trump's entire presidency. And you don't even have to like him. President Obama is beyond intelligent, something that Trump will never be. And I couldn't agree more. When President Obama said in this new interview that there is so much clownery going on in this administration, it's not even funny. Trump does these things for attention. And that I'm
So recently, he visited Canada. Of course, he had talks with the Prime Minister. So these guys got furious, say that he's not supposed to do any work on behalf of United States. And remember, he's the former president. He knows so many things. He knows how to handle things. It's not like Donald, you know. So MAGA furious. They are seeing Iran prefer dealing with Obama than Trump because of his way of handling things. Even the way he talks, he has to first think before he talks. So let us see what these creators are reacting.
For example, Laura Loomer said, "Why is Obama meeting with world leaders while Trump is in office? This is a coup." She thinks that Obama meeting with Carney is an attempt to overthrow the United States government. Another popular MAGA account on Twitter said, "He's a former president. This violates the Logan Act." No, it does not. Honestly, I don't know what the F he thinks he's doing. The balls the Democrats have, unbelievable. I actually responded to that tweet by saying, "This you," referencing her back in 2024, celebrating Donald Trump meeting with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago. The MAGA Republicans hate Obama because he's better than Donald Trump in every single way, and people actually like him. He's one of the most popular politicians in America, despite leaving the presidency years ago. People still love him.
Listen, Obama goes to Canada and MAGA lose their minds. Listen, y'all, the man is a United States citizen and he can travel and go and do whatever he wants to do. But MAGA is upset that he's over in Canada and visiting and talking to Mark and things like that. So they're trying to say that he's doing something illegal because he up there talking to Canada and the Canadians don't even want to talk to Donald Trump. Nope.
Mark Carney just stood in front of a room full of world leaders and said out loud on camera that we are not going to submit to a more transactional, insular, and brutal world. 3 words. That's all he needed. And if you think he wasn't talking about one specific person, you haven't been paying attention. This was the Global Progress Action Summit in Toronto. Former President Barack Obama was there. Pete Buttigieg was there. Leaders from across the democratic world were there. And Carney got up and gave what I believe is the most important speech by any allied leader since Trump took power. Not because it was loud, and wasn't, because it was precise. He named the disease, he described the damage, and then he laid out exactly what Canada is doing about it. Let's go through all of it.
I'll tell you something, I've probably told you everything I've said, you know. But, those whose politics is to destroy, to demolish, dismantle, they're not going to change their instincts. This is, in many respects, this is their moment, right? We can't match them by being timid imitations of them. We can't answer them by pining for an old order that's not going to return. And the loss of control that people feel that feeds our age of anxiety, it can only be answered by positive action, by building that which comes next. Through the crack in the bell, as Leonard Cohen said, through the rupture that the light gets in. In this more uncertain world, building for all, actual building, concrete, steel, and code is the new progressive politics. And our message to Canadians right from the start has been reflecting back what we've heard. It's a more dangerous world. We have to take care of ourselves. And as Canadians, we will always take care of each other. Building a country that's not just strong, but good. Not just prosperous, but fair. not just for some most of the time, but for all Canadians all of the time.
We can't match them by being timid imitations of them. Read that again. He is not whispering that. He is not hedging it. He is standing up in front of that room and saying, do not be Trump light. Do not soften your edges because you're scared. Do not water yourself down and call it strategy. And I need you to understand something. The people in that room know exactly who he's talking about. They've been dancing around it for months.
Donald Trump is trying to do everything to push Canada down, not to do with Obama. That's why he keeps on putting a lot of tariffs on them, threatening them with tariffs.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama and current Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, both broke the internet overnight. All because Mark Carney posted a video of him meeting and shaking hands with Barack Obama. Watch. So that 8-second clip has caused the internet to absolutely erupt in anger and questions. What in the world is a former U.S. president doing talking to the leader of Canada? That is unacceptable. That is collusion. They are treasonous. They are working against Donald Trump. We demand both their heads. They should be thrown in jail. It's collusion. Hold Obama accountable under the Logan Act. And I'm like, the Logan Act. So that's when somebody who is a U.S. citizen, but not part of the government, involves themselves or talks to a foreign leader, from a leader from another country, right? Because isn't that what Donald Trump did when Biden was president? Because he admits that he talked to Putin. He admits that he talked to Viktor Orban. He admits that he talked to Netanyahu. Hell, I think even Netanyahu came to Mar-a-Lago at one point. So how is that not a violation of the Logan Act? But somehow this is. And the thing is that the reason that Barack Obama is even in Toronto meeting Mark Carney is not because he specifically came to Toronto to meet Mark Carney. No, he came because there is an event being put on by Canada 2020. It's a think tank convention. That's what it is. It's a think tank convention. A bunch of rich geniuses sit in a room and talk about all the things they think that they can do to make the world a better place. That's exactly what it is, right? I guess it's political in a sense, but it's not collusion. It's not treason. They're not purposely getting together. I mean, you have absolutely no proof of that's what's going on. And the thing is that this happens. I mean, Pierre Poilievre right now is at his own convention in Ottawa with U.S. representatives. U.S. representatives, I might add, that have said horrible things about Canada, okay? And he's there speaking at the same convention as these U.S. representatives. And nobody's screaming collusion. Nobody's screaming, how dare he, I want his head. Like, it's just, I mean, to me, the optics don't look good because these are two of the representatives. One, actually, Pete Hoekstra was supposed to speak and then got pulled back to Washington. But these are people that have said things badly, that have said horrible things about Canada. And yet Pierre Poilievre is at a convention with them, right? But he's allowed to do that. Okay, Mark Carney is not screaming treason and collusion at him, is he? No, nobody's asking for his head. We can be unimpressed with it. Listen, a lot of people are allowed to be unimpressed with Mark Carney meeting with Barack Obama. A lot of people are allowed to sit there and go, you're allowed to have your thoughts. But to sit there and demand that people go to jail or people be held accountable or that it's treasonous is taking it too fucking far when your side does it as well. And I'm also noticing people are bringing up the fact that apparently George Soros was at this as well. And it's like, okay, so a billionaire was at a think tank with a bunch of rich, smart people. I'm not surprised. This, again, is not collusion. It's not treason. It's just what he would normally, the event that he would normally go to. And for the people that are getting upset, that are like, oh, this is a billionaire involving himself in politics and trying to sway people and interfere. I'm sorry, did you not see all of the people that showed up to Trump's inauguration that got the special seats? All the billionaires that were there? Elon Musk especially loves to involve himself in politics, making sure that Donald Trump got reelected and such. You guys didn't have a problem with that? Because I kind of did. I mean, I don't think any billionaire should be influencing politics. But you can't sit there and point your finger at George Soros if you're not going to point your finger back the other way at your own billionaires on the Republican side. So, listen, again, I'm not saying people can't get upset. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But do not scream for the head of somebody or for someone to be legally held responsible if you are not going to legally hold responsible the rest of the people that are doing this as well on your side.
Trump is furious, is jealous about Barack Obama. I don't know what he's going to do. Oh, Trump. Let us see what this creator is saying.
If I see another MAGA post about Obama being in Canada, meeting with the Prime Minister, y'all are crazy. Trump literally did the same thing when he was not in office. He as well met with foreign leaders when he was not in office. When you are a former president, you are a private citizen. Therefore, you can meet with anyone that you choose to meet with that is a foreign politician. There's no wrong in that. But because it's Obama, it's a problem. Let me repeat again. Trump did the exact same thing when he was not in office. He even hosted foreign leaders at Mar-a-Lago. And did Democrats have anything to say about that? No, they did not. Obama knows what he's doing. He has a law degree. He knows what he can and cannot do.
Today, after 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not. A comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon. This deal is also in line with a tradition of American leadership. Because of this deal, the international community will be able to verify that the Islamic Republic of Iran will not develop a nuclear weapon. This deal meets every single one of the bottom lines that we established when we achieved a framework earlier this spring. Every pathway to a nuclear weapon is cut off. Because of this deal, Iran will not produce the highly enriched uranium and weapons-grade plutonium that form the raw materials necessary for a nuclear bomb. Because of this deal, Iran will remove 2/3 of its installed centrifuges, the machines necessary to produce highly enriched uranium for a bomb, and store them under constant international supervision. Iran will not use its advanced centrifuges to produce enriched uranium for the next decade. Iran will also get rid of 98% of its stockpile of enriched uranium. This deal offers an opportunity to move in a new direction. We should seize it.
Donald Trump appeared to have woken up a little more agitated than usual on Saturday morning, and he immediately got on Truth Social to let the entire world know that he wasn't doing well mentally. And one of the things that Donald Trump actually reposted from another user on Truth Social, user by the name of Mike Davis, who happens to be a pro-Trump attorney, was a call for President Obama to be indicted for murder. Now, before I read you the post, again, that Donald Trump himself shared, let me give you a little bit of why this lawyer was even saying this. Obviously, Donald Trump was recently shot down by Judge Tanya Chutkan when he tried to argue that as the former president of the United States, he is totally and completely immune from any kind of criminal prosecution now and forever. So, sorry, but you can't hold him accountable for anything he did. And because she said no,
we are starting to see the final perverted acts of President Donald Trump. And at this point, if you're not questioning his brain, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Donald Trump glitching endlessly when asked relatively basic questions. Donald Trump was flying out to give a commencement speech at the Coast Guard Academy yesterday. He was, I guess you would say, interviewed, although these are really just press questions. And there is a fascinating moment. He is asked a question about J.D. Vance coming from Gavin Newsom, and it's framed up this way. Governor Gavin Newsom says JD doesn't have what it takes to follow you. And what is a fascinating insight into Trump's psychology about this question is that Trump is trying to weigh that on one hand, he hates reporters, he hates critical questions and all of that. But on the other hand, he realizes, hey, they're kind of complimenting me here. In a way, what Newsom is suggesting is that JD isn't as talented as me, or at least it's being implied because Newsom is saying JD can't do what Trump does. Trump likes that. So Trump has to figure out how JD's talented, we're doing a lot, blah, blah, blah. If it's JD, Trump has been watching JD's numbers drop like a lead balloon. And Trump must suspect that Gavin Newsom is right. Now, Gavin Newsom, of course, is not meaning it as a compliment about JD, about Donald Trump, when he says, I don't know that JD can do what Trump did. But Trump loves the idea that no one is going to be able to, quote, do what I did. Because Trump's belief is that he is the only person who is capable of doing whatever it is that he's done, which has mostly been horrible. But wait a second, is this praise? Is this an insult? What am I supposed to say? Trump loves the idea that he might be the only one who can actually do what he has been able to do. And I think he also recognizes that JD is on a significant decline. Now, then it got weird because a very confused Donald Trump suggests that it was Barack Obama who withdrew from Afghanistan. Obama! In fact, it was Joe Biden. But Trump's confused, but we're not allowed to question his brain.
But I get a kick when I look at somebody on television. He's lost 13 people. I lost 13 people. They lost 13 people leaving an airport. Obama, 13 very good people that I got to.
Now, of course, he is referring to individuals who tragically died when Joe Biden decided we are finally getting out of Afghanistan. Remember that it was Biden implementing Trump's plan to leave Afghanistan, but Trump's just confused. This happens all the time with Donald Trump. He doesn't know what year.
It is beyond obvious at this point that Mark Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada are intentionally sabotaging CUSMA negotiations, the most important economic negotiations that Canada has held in decades, for their own selfish political reasons, geopolitical reasons, globalist strategy to get Canada closer to totalitarian dictatorships in China, in Qatar, all around the world, and move us further and further away from our most important defense, economic, social partner, the United States of America. Last night, Mark Carney is at an event with Barack Obama and Alex Soros. Alex Soros, the son of George Soros, who is the architect of open borders, the current immigration policies that Canada has implemented, allowing 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 million people into the country a year, refusing to remove nearly anybody from the country. The writer of those policies, George Soros, his son, meeting with our prime minister alongside, of course, everybody knows Trump absolutely despises Obama. This is long-standing knowledge. The CUSMA negotiations, which the United States has nearly wrapped up a deal with Mexico at this point, but the deal with Canada is looking more and more likely that it is not going to be completed, whether we look at it. It started with that incredibly stupid Doug Ford ad running the Reagan quote, out of context from the 80s. Melanie Joly sticking massive tariffs onto Canadian automakers. It has become so apparent that what the left-wing party, the Communist Party in Canada, is doing is intentionally sabotaging our relationship with the United States of America in order to personally profit himself and implement their globalist plan to turn Canada, as Justin Trudeau said in 2017, to a post-national state. I've been tracking this, which is why I've launched the Deportation Accountability Project. I have reached out to both the CBSA, Canada Border Services, as well as Immigrations and Refugee, asking for specific data pertaining to the number of violent criminals who have been allowed into the country, how many have criminal charges against them, the number that have deportation orders, a set of about 10 questions to both institutions that they are legally mandated to respond to me within 30 days, because we see day after day after day. Just last week, a story out of Calgary, an Ethiopian man on a student visa who was not enrolled in school, waving a Glock 19 in a man's face after a road rage incident. What does the judge do? The judge stays the charges. He says he can't be deported because Ethiopia is too dangerous. Exact same story with the Humboldt bus driver. Judge Jocelyn Gagne saying a man who ran through a red light and killed 16 people could not be deported. He has now been in the country for 7 years since that incident. He only served 4 years in prison. And these are just two stories. We see them day after day after day. And Carney is now meeting with Obama, meeting with Soros, meeting with the chief architects of open borders policies that are destroying Western civilization. As soon as I get information back regarding all of my requests, in my estimation, this should be the largest story in the country. There are hundreds of thousands of violent criminals who have been allowed into Canada by the Liberal Party. It is open borders policy. They've just announced another 215,000 people are being allowed into the country. This should be the biggest story in the country. They are mandated to get back to me within 30 days. If you'd like to support the Deportation Accountability Project, you can hit the Stripe link. I will be also posting updates to Substack nearly every single day. You can hit the link and subscribe below. I really appreciate everybody who supports. These open borders anti-West haters insist that Canada is a white supremacist, racist, xenophobic country if we don't allow hundreds of thousands of people from the most dangerous areas of the world to pour in every year. And Canadian citizens are goddamn sick of it. This country was built by the Irish, Scottish, British, and English settlers who built an incredible country out of nothing in 1867 and the years before. I'm so sick of every other country's allowed to say, you're allowed to say Japan is for the Japanese, China is for the Chinese, Iran is for the Iranians, Nigeria is for the Nigerians. It's only in the West, it's only in Canada where you are brandished with all the ists and the phobes if you don't say the same thing. And Canadians are goddamn sick of it. We are now sabotaging our most important relationships, and it's not even particularly close. Over 75% of Canadian trade is done with the United States of America. Of course, without the defense of America's military, we'd be a sitting duck. Our Canada's military is absolutely pathetic. Now, over 20% of our military recruits, over 20% are not even Canadian citizens. I kid you not. Over 1 in 5 Canadian military recruits are not Canadian citizens. They have so destroyed the morale of Canadians by talking about, oh, Canada's white supremacist, these ridiculous land acknowledgements, that nobody in Canada wants to sign up for the military. So they are expediting non-Canadian citizens coming in to join the military. It's so obvious that this force is going to be used against Canadian citizens. And now Carney is sitting down with Trump's arch nemesis on the eve of the most important trade negotiations in Canadian history, alongside the architect of open borders, George Soros, who I would argue has been the most destructive figure in Western civilization over the past 50 years, a man who truly hates the West. And Carney, the little creep, is happy to stand there, smile, shake hands with them, go to yet another one of his multi-$1,000 fundraisers. We'll talk about he's fighting for the little guy. Meanwhile, he's signing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contract that benefit him personally, financially, and his buddies at Brookfield Asset Management. This type of meeting just goes to show you how anti-Canadian our leaders are. If Mark Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada actually wanted what was best for Canada, they'd have a total moratorium on immigration. They would be working their asses off every day to negotiate with the United States of America, like Gloria Sheinbaum in Mexico is doing. There are rumors that within the next couple of days, a finalized deal is going to be signed with Mexico for CUSMA. And if you read what Mexican politicians are saying, they are all effusively praiseful of the Trump regime. which is how you deal with a negotiation. You use your leverage. In Canada, we should be talking about our steel, our aluminum, and praising the United States instead of constantly antagonizing them. Anybody with a modicum of common sense knows that the worst way that you can deal with a personality like Donald Trump is to criticize him. Yet that's all we've heard from drunks like Melanie Jolie, from creeps like Mark Carney. It's just constant criticism. They do not want to get a deal done. They want Canadians to have TDS, to just think for the last 11 years, the economic degradation of Canada, the unaffordability of our housing market, the sky-high inflation, it's all Trump's fault. It has nothing to do with the Liberals who have been in power for the past 11 years, which of course it's all their fault. It's all Trump's fault. All they are is political Machiavellians attempting to turn Canada into a bunch of Trump haters, and they've succeeded because they have a $3 billion state media propagandist in the CBC who just spews this garbage all day. CTV, pretty much in Canada, everything is state sponsored. They shell out billions of dollars to broadcast corporations to spew their far left garbage. Canadians are sick of it, which is why I launched the Deportation Accountability Project. I'm going to be updating it nearly every day. And I will be reaching out to every large broadcaster in Canada, because I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, there are tens of thousands of violent criminals in this country that they simply do not remove because they hate you. They want you dead. Like, get it through your heads, people. The MAID program is now killing about 25,000 people a year, 96% of whom are white. Do you think that's a coincidence? 44 foreign-born MPs, 12 foreign-born senators in Canada. It's sick, it's disgusting, and it has to stop. As I said, if you want to support, you can hit the Stripe link. I'll be live discussing this further on YouTube Sunday night at 7.
Breaking: Trump just flipped on the CIA and wants to arrest Obama for treason and working with the CIA to go against him. I'm going to explain what this is and how much this works to our advantage. So pay attention to every bit of this. You'll feel 1,000% better and a bit entertained as well, because this is something that has happened before in the past couple of days, just basically blaming Obama for shit he pulls out of his ass. But I want to decode some stuff for you. I want to decode some drama and some Trump for you so you can feel 1,000% better and understand, oh, this was supposed to happen anyway. So let's go. For the last 3 nights, this man has sent out a ton of posts, but nothing like this on Obama. What you see on Obama on his Truth Social is 50, you hear me, 50 posts on Obama and how he needs to go to jail, how he's broken law, how he's treason, how he stole $120 million from Affordable Care Act. In other words, he's blaming Obama for everything that he's either done, about to do, or trying to do. How is he stealing money from the Affordable Care Act? Well, Trump is trying to replace the Affordable Care Act. You know that, right? He started Trump RX last year, and he wants these deals to go through him, which is going to be bullshit deals. They're going to be bullshit. So basically, these subsidies that he wants is stuff that's going to be, big companies are going to pay him on the back end to make sure they get. Wink. On top of that, he's going to be tying in whatever he can as far as any companies he can start or he has to go ahead and do business with them in the future, long after he's gone. Whether it be he's gone or he's left office or got kicked out of office. That's what he wants. That's why he's so against Obamacare. So he's accusing Obama of doing the very thing that he's trying to do. Okay? And all of this stuff, as we know, is false. It's not going to go anywhere. First of all, let's talk about this. It's immunity for Obama, like every president. But I remember they interviewed Trump in front of the White House and they said, well, isn't that immunity? You can't go after Obama. And Obama said, yeah, but I can go after his people. Now, that's kind of ironic right now, because there are meetings in the middle of the night in the White House because they're worried about the blowback on all the staff of the Trump administration, because they know they can't get Trump until he's impeached and out of office. So who can they get? They can get anybody on that staff. Stephen Miller's almost been in contempt of court about 5 times between Judge Boasberg and Judge Zinnes over Kilmar Abreu Garcia and over the deportations that Boasberg said don't do in the Alien Enemies Act. He said don't do it, and they ended up doing it. I'm trying to tell you, these people are in trouble. So basically, you have Trump going off in the middle of the night because, according to doctors across social media, real doctors, they said he has frontal lobe dementia.
Our current president, it's widely known he has ODS, Obama derangement syndrome. He cannot stop thinking about former President Barack Obama. And he went on a tirade while everyone was sleeping last night on social media, calling for Barack Obama's arrest, accusing him of pocketing over $100 million from Obamacare, and so on. Now, you're going to start seeing a lot of these attacks on Obama ramp up from President Donald Trump within the next few weeks, in the next month or two, because President Barack Obama is getting ready to open his presidential library in Chicago. And the last thing that President Donald Trump wants is any attention to be taken off of him. For anybody to be talking about former President Barack Obama's achievements and things that he's contributed to this country and around the world, President Donald Trump does not like anybody to steal that spotlight from him. And he definitely doesn't like it when it's a former president, especially Obama, who will always outshine him when it comes to unity in this country and respect. The thing about President Donald Trump is he forgets that respect will get you in places that money never will. Let me know if you plan on visiting the Barack Obama Presidential Library when it opens in June. And let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Bye.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.